All right, we're recording now.
All right, I gotta get into a file. It's maybe already done.
So, hey, real quick, before you start, Devin, can I show you a little tip? Go to back to the General tab. So if you're looking for,
Yeah.
sorry, home screen, sorry. This little house.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you go to Action, that drop down at the top there. So if you're looking for a specific type, that's why you just scrolling down. See that drop down at the Action at the top, right below Client. Drop down.
There's two drop downs above the actions, so I'll keep going up from where you are, right there.
So like, okay, you type commitment or whatever you were looking for, so it would show only those actions on file.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, good. Thanks for that. And I've been putting the status for rushes first. So we gotta get them out. All right, let me go in and see if we can get a good example that will be quick. Together with maybe not.
And you guys know about the whole snapshot things, right? Did they ever go over that? Okay, cool.
What was it?
Snapshots.
There's a little button there that says snapshots, because every time you generate a commitment, it creates like a image of what that previous commitment looked like. So you have a audit of the different, so that goes for policies and commitments. So if for whatever reason somebody comes back and says, "Oh, you didn't have this mortgage on there," well, you can hit that snapshots button, and it'll show all the different commitments that were generated on that file.
Right.
All right, so I guess I should just skip doing the deed work right now. I can do that later. Or no, actually, we need to complete that action, so I will just do it real quick. There's not much.
Let's do it just like a live file. We're not looking to save time. We're looking to see how long it actually takes you.
All right, yeah. So I've begun the process. I'm doing the deed work now.
Wow, that is not good penmanship.
Yeah, that is Joe DeCord, and it takes you about 6 to 8 months before you start to understand what they actually mean.
And just learning a new language, literally.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Sanskrit, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, they're ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics at best. Does that say Howard Stern?
Maybe. Howard Street, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
838.
That's where I think we need to enhance, is so you guys can actually read the stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's get that out of here. Now I'm combining the deed work in the order. Okay. Dropping it in and naming it deed work. I'm used to most recent at the bottom with snap close, so I'm going to continue to do that. Right. All right, so what I'll do is I'll check right now, check the property just to make sure the municipality is in there, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And
now, are you checking that versus the tax search?
Well, I'm just checking to make sure that it's there. And if it's not there, then I will look at the tax search.
Yeah.
Westover MD. What? Okay, never mind.
So it looks like that might see no one chose municipality there.
Right, yeah, that happens more than not. That it's not there.
Yeah. It's very common, especially in some of the older files, that order entry is not entering the legal municipality. But just like in SnapClose now, production's role is kind of second set of eyes. They go through and make sure that the legal and postal municipalities are correct. So doing the same. Did you do mail ad on that property card?
No, I forgot to do that. We have to get into.
Yep. Yeah. Make sure you do mail ad. and that
Right.
brings in the mailing address, because the mailing address is going to be the searched address. In this.
Hmm. Another thing that would, that we have to fix is the order entry isn't putting in period after the middle initial. So I'll have to fix
Oh,
that.
If they
you do
do
want the
that,
period?
well, here's the thing: if you don't do it, then your documents don't populate with a dot. But if you do that, they have to remember to take the dot out when they order their judgment searches, because the judgment integrations don't allow for punctuation.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Can
one
that
way
get
or the
fixed?
other.
All right. So I guess.
Probably not. But moving on.
All right.
Not in a timely fashion, anyway. They'd have to go back to development.
All right. So when I go over, the search data tab. The first thing I'll do is I'll add the effective date, 4/6/18. And then I'll go over to the vesting and type the vesting, and I did a merge or a speed code vest. And actually, what would be helpful if we add get the seller's name
Yep, I can
for
do
the
that.
merge code. So Edward Schmidt. See, we only have Edward Schmidt here, but its title is showing in Edward and Ruth Schmidt, his wife. And did she die?
What's the sum?
Yes, she did. Okay, so Ruth is dead.
Okay. Sorry.
Now, is that is that how you want the vesting to show, or is that the?
Yeah, this is the most general way that we want it to show.
Okay, because do you guys utilize the chain of titles tab at the top there?
We haven't
We
put
have
that
not.
in play.
Okay.
Is there a way to pull that in here?
Well, we could pull it in to the whatever template, so if you utilize the chain of title area, you could have a template already built out.
So you're saying we would use chain of title, leave this area blank, and have our documents pulled from that chain of title?
Yeah, yeah, we could pull, because there's actually an area where you can specify how the template reads when you do chain of title, and then you wouldn't have to go through and hit all these different, like just for a second, Devin, can you go to that chain of title /taxes tab up at the top there? So here you would go ahead and hit add under the chain of title type, which again we can, just like the liens and requirements, if you select the deed type there on the drop down, you can pick which deed it applies to, and then we could pull in all this information. All you would really have to do is fill in who the grantors were, the interest, the deed book volume page, and then also obviously the recorded. And then we could also even pull in notes. So if there's any kind of special notes that you have, all of this we can point to this area on any document. So however you want it to show on your commitments, we could have just the simple vesting on the search data tab, but then have all of this stuff. So it's not a lot of, enter, space, because we've already got that template built in the background, and you all pull from this area. So this is typically where they would put this information, and then we could just point to it on the actual commitment itself.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll do it.
So that's one thing, so that's just an idea if you wanted to look at doing
I
it that
definitely
way.
will look at that in the future, for sure. All right, and we also have we don't know the date of the death of Ruth, so I put underscores there, but I just realized that it's probably not going to let me generate a commitment if I have underscores. So I'm not sure what to put, as I guess dashes. And then later when we find out the date of the death, we'll just add it. All right. For legal, I know we had vest and the other one, but I did one speed code called legal 1, and it'll bring in the top, all that, and the courses. But I'm not going to sit here and type the legal, while we're on the phone. I'll have to just do that after.
How many legals are you typing?
What's
versus
that, Dave?
copy and paste.
Yeah, I thought most of the legals copy and paste it.
They are, but if you look at this one's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of editing.
Yeah, as soon as they start writing on it, it's no good.
What percentage is typed and what percentage is able to copy paste? Would you say?
I would say 65 to 70% we can copy.
So you guys are looking at typing 30 to 40 legals a day. I remember that's what I used to be able to type when I first started. Does it make sense to bring in somebody just to type legals?
No, that always comes up, but I don't think that is really worth it.
It's better to bring somebody in and train them how to type everything.
And then, all right. So if we go down here,
I guess here's the thing, guys. I guess not to interrupt you, but when we're busy and it's hard, like you guys say.
Yeah, but if 70% of the time you're just copying and pasting, that's this person's only helping you on 30% of your work. They usually end up sitting there saying, "What can I do now?" because they run out of legals to type, even if we're super busy. It just doesn't work.
But even if we're typing, so we're doing 100 doors. I remember I used to be able to type 30, 40 legals a day. So that carried a whole day. So if we're busy, just bring in somebody in the summer or whatever, just type legals. You know what I mean?
And eventually, at some point, they'll just be sitting there going, "What do I do?"
And then you get
because
rid of
all
them.
they know how to do is that one thing, and they'll run out of that because it's only 30% of the files.
But
and I would probably at that point just train them how to do it, the whole thing.
All right. I mean, look, it doesn't make sense to me, but.
And we have that data entry position where it's have them type all of it. Maybe they just don't finish the file, but just legals alone is pointless. They'd have to do the vesting legals, requirements, and exceptions to be useful.
So down here in the liens and requirements, this must have been one of those files that was opened earlier. We have standard new parties here, and then we have another standard new parties here. So we were going to have to delete one of them. I usually will delete this one. And then in short documents, it's coming up down here when it should be in the 4th position.
Is there a quicker way, if they get into a file where things are doubled up like that, is there a quicker way for them to reset it?
No, they would just have to
it takes forever. Okay. Yeah, to modify the file and redrop, it takes forever, and the actions all get reset. Right. And that takes forever to redo. And it really is important that order entry puts them in as correct as they possibly can, because it screws up the rest of the file, including the estimated title fees.
Can you go to the general tab? I just want to see when this file was opened. I want to make sure that this is an older one. Oh, you have
That's okay.
416. So I guess it's okay. Sweet. I just want to make sure that the liens are coming in correctly still, so I can look at that on my side too.
Okay. We'll check my deed mortgage call to make sure everything looks good. And here is a situation where I would choose hard returns to soft because they weren't there. And then if it looks good, so now we'll add the rest of the requirements that we have. R0 purchase and a D5.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
This is Ed Rickenbach. I just came in 10 seconds ago, but can I ask you a question? Sure. Why are we doing it? Why wasn't this done 3 months ago? I mean, you guys said we were ready to go.
what area in particular are you talking about?
Talking about this conversation. It seems like we're still working through getting this thing running, and shouldn't it? I mean, does it seem strange that we're having this conversation 2 weeks in?
Yeah, typically we try to iron it out prior to, and then obviously if anything comes up in between
Right.
or after going live, yeah. I mean, I would agree that that's.
I guess what my partner told me, another Mark. He said he was down in the Woodbury office, and somebody from your organization who was down there training said, "You guys aren't ready. You're just not ready." And now I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, doesn't sound like we're ready. Doesn't sound like you're ready, I should say. We're not ready either, but it sounds like you're not ready.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to the other offices as far as because I'm just really the day in and day out. I don't know about the other people as far as decisions to go live and stuff like that. But I mean,
All right.
yeah.
But that just look again. I'm the worst with all this stuff, but I'm listening. Like sounds like you're still tweaking things.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's. I know we went through periods of time where it was, you guys got busy, and so yeah, it's definitely something that we, probably should have had done. I just don't know,
Yeah,
exactly.
Ed, we're doing better now. The point of this call is how to get it even faster.
Right.
So
Well,
that's what we're trying to do right now.
Let me ask you, how many binders are we going to get out today, Devin?
How many?
Like,
I mean, more than yesterday.
Well, no, give me a number.
Well, what was the number yesterday?
Well, I heard 36, and I ran the report. It said 54, so I don't know what the number is.
Yeah, 36 seemed incredibly low, and there was no way that that was all that was done yesterday. So I would say we're probably closer to 70 today.
So we're still going in a hole. We're falling behind.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're going in the right direction.
No, but we got more coming in than we got going out, so our hole gets deeper.
But not for long.
We're out of time. That's the problem. I mean, in case you're getting emails, Devin, you're getting them too. All right, look, I'll talk. You know what? I'm going to get track down Ed D'Agostino, and we'll talk. All right, thanks, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, Mark. I know this isn't on you, but I guess as you can see, upper management's getting frustrated, and
Yeah.
they're looking to either get this fixed ASP or do something, because no one's interested in losing business, and that's what we're looking at,
Yeah. No, I understand.
I know that's not you, so I know it's awkward, but don't sweat it.
Just later. All right. So after this is what I would go and create the CPL. We'll go to new loans, CPL, request CPL. Pressing from WFG. Select the agency, got Marlton, and the clause. The clause is something that, we've been kind of going back and forth about where it should be, who should put it in. If we don't find it, then we just do the regular, the most standard clause. Okay. Save. All right. So now, what I would do is see what was ordered, so I can charge appropriately on the estimated title fees. And it would, if possible, it would be helpful if in the search data tab and the third-party order history, it would tell us how many names were, or what names were ordered, if that's at all possible. It looks like there was only 3 here, but it could be 4 or 5 or 6 if multiple names were on one report. So if we go back to Documents tab, I have to open them up and check how many names are on. So I see 1, 2, and then
Wait, so
3.
there's a way to order, have a search that has more than one name on it?
Yeah. So there's
I haven't figured out how to do that.
If it's working in the integration, yeah, it is. You can just hit the add button and you got to manually type it in. But I'm trying
You
to
gotta
get people not to use it and just to do one report at a time, but people don't listen.
All right, okay. Yeah, all right, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. We have to check that because we're not going to charge for 3 if
Right.
there's actually 5. So that takes
Right.
time.
But-
We'll do.
Yeah. Like when I'm examining, I don't know if this is something we can get the examiners to do, Dave, but when I'm examining, I'm opening up those judgment searches anyway. So when I open it, I'm also hitting edit and putting the name in there. So the ones that I examine that you guys see, you're going to see the name in the saved file name. So you shouldn't have to open them up and count. You should only have to open them up if you need to copy any data. But that should all be written out in the exam sheet.
I have a feeling that's a long shot, but
What happened to my reservoir? There it is.
There you go.
So just real quick, Devin, I'm guessing that the CPL aspect should be a time saver for you guys, because we're, aside from, I think, First American, we're typically going out rekeying information, right?
Yeah.
For
So
CPL?
WFG, First American, and Fidelity, and I actually haven't come across the Stewart yet because I don't know if they're integrated or not. But that is a huge time saver.
Mm-hmm.
That should.
They should be. Yeah, they should be integrated as well.
Stewart. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so we would only have to do AmTrust and.
Yeah, Amtrust is not part of the mix.
All right. So what I did next is I had to create the Patriot search. And then I had to run their names. What happened?
And just a side note, there is Patriot Act integration within Resware. I don't know exactly how you guys are running it, but if that is something that you're interested in, I can get you some more information on it. But what it basically does is it cross-checks those databases and will put a lien on the search data tab with the results. So that's anytime you add a name or even edit a name, it'll run that search.
Is there a fee?
Yeah, but I believe so. Yeah.
We're doing
I
our
think that
own
was
and collecting our own, so
Gotcha. Okay.
we probably want to stick with ours.
So Patriot takes a little bit longer. Copy
So
and
what is
paste
it that you're doing
everybody's-
here? Oh, are you? Oh, you're doing the search. Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and what I'm doing is copying and pasting the names as quickly
Gotcha.
as I possibly can. All right, so everybody's clear. So I'm going to exit out and update it to the server.
Did that not pull in the buyers and sellers automatically? Patriot name
It did.
searches? Okay.
I did. Okay.
Oh, you were copying and pasting into the search engine?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So now I'll do the title charges. So I know that there were 3 names. All right, abstracts 89. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to see if anything else additional was ordered. It doesn't look like there was. Okay, so I'll go to settlement, title charges. So when the file is opened correctly, this is great. If a file has to be changed and the product has to be dropped again, it's a nightmare. So we can just add abstract fees. document prep we don't even need. I'm not sure why that's even there. We can probably get rid of it unless Dave or Casey, you know why that it would be there.
Now, they don't have to delete lines that are empty, right? Empty
No,
lines
no,
won't show up.
no. The only reason why they would show up blank is if you have that force column
Yeah.
checkbox checked.
So you don't have to do anything with the empty lines as long as it's not forced, and that shouldn't be the default.
What was the other thing you asked before that, Devin? Something about if you had to remerge or something?
Yeah, so a lot of
Or
times, yeah, especially in the beginning, what's been holding us back is if order entry put it in wrong, then everything else is wrong. The invoice is wrong, the product type is wrong, like the requirements and exceptions could be wrong. So we had to redrop the product and then have to redo everything. And when you redrop the product, the invoice doesn't get fixed. You have to go in and manually change it to what it's supposed to be.
Mark, shouldn't that happen when we repull the product?
Yeah, no, that should happen. So I mean, if you have the next time you have one, because in theory, the only reason why that wouldn't happen is there's about maybe 6 questions that are popped up when you're adding the new product. One of them is, do you want to add the fees for the new product? If you say no, then that won't happen. But if you say yes to every single one of those questions, it should pull in with the proper fees based on
Okay.
that new product that was selected.
Yeah. I was probably just going too fast and then didn't see that. All right.
But
so
if you
the
do
other
have
thing
one,
that-
let me know, because then I can take a look.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll have to add and delete endorsements. This is something that we should probably get added to all of our purchase files, or at least residential purchase files with lender, and the refinance, because these endorsements are always going to be on there. Is at least the 8 and 9. So in order to put the endorsement
Well, now
charges on the title fees, you have to add it here first.
Yes, and that has since been fixed. So you should start seeing new files with the 8 and 9 already added.
Okay. Another thing that is kind of slowing us down when we're adding the endorsements, if I click on the one that we need and I go to add new, when it says update splits, I've just been hitting yes, and I hope that's correct.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. hmm
Okay, so I've been hitting yes. Then it goes back to both up here. I don't know if we ever really need an option for both, or even, I guess, an owner's only if a survey endorsement and it's a cash deal. But if there's a lender involved, then we should always have it as a default to lender, if that's possible.
I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can look at something to see if I can get that.
Okay, and then I'll go add the survey endorsement. So
But
now
yeah,
I have
those
our
should
3.
now be automatically added on your files.
Yes,
that order
which is
placement.
nice.
hmm
Right, so then we'll go to settlement, to add the property type, title charges, and now our title charges are complete. And then from here, we'll go to reports and generate. Attach the file. Attach PDF. And then go to our documents, and then we'll see that they were created. So this is when I will go to create docs, and then fill in that it was a purchase. Examiner was Joe. 2 recording fees, and then we'll do Dennis's names that we can sign on the NOS. And hit save.
Yeah, that different font for Dennis's signature name, that was weird. I had to set the default.
Yeah. I think that got fixed. I noticed it today.
Yeah, I did fix that. It was weird. I had to
Great.
set the default font
Yeah,
to be
great.
that to match.
That's good. Okay, so yeah, that looks good. Right. And cover looks good. Casey, question for you, if you think.
hmm
You know how we have 2 people here, the 2 of the borrowers, and then we have the address under. Are the county clerks going to not like that because there's not an address next to each of those names?
I don't know.
I'm praying that it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
we're going to get a lot sent back.
And then, so here's the rub with that is that if you have more than 2 names, Mark,
hmm
how do we populate that with all the borrowers or all the buyers and an address next to each name. You could do buyer
we
one,
would have.
buyer two, but after that you're spent.
Well, do they each have to have their own notice of settlement, or can it all be on the same one?
It can all be on the same page, but instead of, you see how it's there, Ryan and Mary with one
Yeah.
address, it would.
Mm-hmm.
Some clerks
Here, I
are
can
stupid
format it
and
too.
want it to be Ryan with an address, Mary with an address.
Right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See the way he's putting it in there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we would have to do buyer one, buyer two, and then just put and we would accomplish that by doing conditional fields. So it's kind of like a if exists, then show this kind of thing. So
Well, what if we have 3, 4, 5?
yeah, we could still do that through. I
Okay.
mean, we would eventually have to come up with a stopping point, but yeah, we can set it up saying if there is a third borrower or a spouse of a third borrower, all those different variations, that is possible.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So the way that it is like now is the way that it should look.
So do you want me to pull the trigger on that, Casey?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
How many is a safe number to stop at as far as the buyers?
I would say covering commercial deals, which also use the notices, I would say 10.
10. Okay. Okay. I will see what I can do.
And that would be
Then-
for
that
buyer
for both?
buyer borrowers on both forms and the sellers
Yeah,
on
the sellers is important.
the other form.
Okay.
The seller should look like this. Okay. And then moving on to the county recording sheet. Casey, it's fine that we have just one of the borrowers here and then the next borrower is here for additional parties? Or are they going to want to see both here?
Well, my interpretation was that they wanted one party, the first party in those fields. But if that's not the case, if you can find that out, that's an easy fix.
Okay, yeah. If we get any rejections that say that, then I will let you know.
Yep, let me know.
And then how about this enter data thing? Because that does print
That's just
out.
a field we can take out.
Yeah,
and we
should
can
probably take that
remove
out.
that from the template if you don't
Yep.
want to. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, let's remove those.
Is that just on that particular one, or is there multiple?
Probably
of
on
that?
all the county recording
Yeah,
cover
a lot of
pages wherever there was a blank field.
County cover recorded pages. Okay.
All right. And then Mark, let me know when you're ready. When you're done taking notes, I'll
Yep,
show you
I'm
something
ready.
about the cover letter. Okay. We have to always go in and edit the CCs, and that takes up some time too. If we could get it so it is correct the first time, that we don't have to edit that document, that would be a time saver.
And also there's a space issue in between the name and the from. So this is called the commitment cover letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one's for the client.
So what's probably happening on that one, Casey, is it's probably got a merge field for all the different partners that could possibly be on that file. So the first 4 or 5 don't exist on this particular file. So maybe what we need to do is come up with conditionals similar to the buyer borrower thing. So yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Thank you. And I noticed this pulling through up here. There's no
Yeah,
space
I can.
between
I'll
that.
look at that too.
Okay. All right, and then I edit it, and then I add it to the reservoir, and then I go back to open it up just to make sure my changes were still made, and then this is happening. Again, this one isn't urgent to get fixed, but in the future, a smaller change to fine tune it would be to fix that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can look at that.
Cool. All right.
And just so you know, rule of thumb, when it comes, because I know you made the comment about to make sure the changes were made. If you go back into that for me, or did you delete it or?
No, I had it.
So just rule of thumb, anytime you're making any kind of cosmetic changes or something, obviously we would prefer not to do that because then, you don't have to do it over and over again. But you notice when you click on, say, like the Keller Williams Home Realty You notice how it goes gray when you click on it?
Yes.
So that is a merge field. If you make a change in there, it will not save because it's a
Right.
live merge field that's pulling from the database. You can always right click on it and then hit toggle and then toggle field codes, and it'll actually show you. So it looks like it's pulling the listing agent here. So if there is some sort, you could just toggle it back to get the data again. But and then right click, and then so if you did need to make a change, you would make that change directly on that partner card. So because again, it won't save that change because it's just pulling the same data again over into Resware from Resware.
Right.
So
Okay. Right. All right. So now that we have all of our documents that we need to go in the title binder, actually, don't have the commitment itself. So I'll generate the commitment. And what the typists are doing now is they have to manually check to make sure formatting is okay, make sure everything else looks okay. And in the future we would like to make it so they don't have to edit or really even look. This looks okay, so I'll update it to the server. And I noticed that when we generate the commitment, that is what triggers to create the title binder. But this is still not completely correct yet, which is why we've actually been deleting it and then recombining it in the order that we need it to manually ourselves.
okay, so
that's
the area. So it looks like there's some automation. So you guys aren't, because don't you have some sort of like commit merge or something like that? It's like some.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
the
how
that's
are
the
you-
thing.
How are you merging your documents now? Like to send out the package?
That's what I'm going to show you. So what we're doing now, we would be deleting this automated title binder because it's not correct. And we would select everything that we need. To go in the package, and we would go to combine. And we have to manually move the documents where they should be.
Yeah, see, I can do that. I can make that so that that's not something you have to do. I would just need a list of every document type that you could possibly have within this doc type, within the merge, and then I would just need to know the preferred ordering, and then I can set that up so that that title binder that you keep deleting is more effective. Like it'll have
Yes.
everything
Right.
that you need already in the proper order.
Yeah,
Do you have a
that's what we need.
preset list already of the order of docs, Devin? Do you already have that?
Yeah, I think I sent that last week. It's just like a general purchase file, what the order would be. But I'm going to have to come up with every single document that we may possibly use.
Well,
and
I
then
guess
we're gonna have to
I
put
guess
it
I don't. I mean, I would
Like
just need to know.
endorsements, you can just
We go
put
by
endorsements.
document type, so we don't necessarily have to worry about each individual document because as long as you're putting them in the document types, then I can scoop them up, right? So, if you want to go through and tell me here are all the document types that could possibly, if it's on the file, I want it included in that title package combine, and then here's the order I want them in. So if you can get me that list, and I don't know if maybe Casey, if you could send him a list of all the different document types, I could then, you could even just mark down like, okay, these are the ones I use, and here's the preferred
Okay,
order.
yeah, that might be helpful. And then I wanted to also mention that it's imperative for the people in our company to make sure that the documents and the document types are correct, because if we're merging this title commitment, I can already see it. Well, this wasn't added. Well, this wasn't added. It's like, well, that's because the document type was never changed. And I can already see that is going to happen a lot. So we have to stress to everybody that to make sure the document types are correct, because they will be merged in the title binder, and we can't be held responsible for people that aren't naming their documents correctly if it's not ending up in the title binder, and then we can't go back and take the time to fix it because they didn't change the document type.
Right. Other than a title commitment, which I think should be fixed now because it says production only, is there anything else that's commonly being misnamed or
Yeah.
mis
The biggest issue are the third-party searches.
uh-huh.
Because they're not coming back as the correct document type, we have to manually change that.
Right.
Yeah, people are adding other documents like survey endorsement as commitment when they should be saving it as commitment supplemental. And I know that's just going to take some time for people to, drill it in their head. That's what they got to do.
Right.
So we just have to stress before we launch this immediate merge title binder thing that everything has to be, that they want in the commitment. It's got to be correct document type.
Well, Devin, shoot me the list of all possible documents for any possible file, and then I'll make sure that we have a corresponding document type for each one of those. And it may be that some of our default docs, or some of the documents that we merge, have to have their default document type changed so that they auto-populate, and then we'll just have to, try to make sure that every one of those searches gets the document type set when you go in and take a look at them. I don't know if
Okay. Yeah.
that's something we can pin on the examiners. I mean, that's what I'm already doing, so I'm opening it up anyway, just to see what they
Right.
are.
I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be a group effort. Everybody. I don't think anybody should say, "Oh, production should do that." "Oh, processors or order entry should do that." I think it should be, if anybody is in a file and they're working on it and they notice that a document type is not correct, that they have to go in and fix it. This has to be a team thing.
Right. I agree. I mean, look, I'm amazed at the amount of laziness that people display. Like, how long does it take to sign a doc type? It's just amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
But you like Devin, you think I was telling people they got to run a 5K when I say, hey, you got to change the doc types on these? Like, it's just
I hear
insane.
you. I hear you.
But yeah, it's screwed up. But yeah, we'll have to fix it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it just everybody check. Typists will know. Like, I'll tell them, if you don't see that it's correct, please change it. And if they tell me that they find themselves always constantly changing things, then we'll have to.
Right. You know what the big problem was, and I won't go on about this, but for years and years and years in SnapClose, we screwed up as a company by saying we had no follow-up system for these searches. We just assumed they were going to come in and and hope they came in. And so now we're finally doing it the right way, and people are going nuts. Like, I got to track this? Well, yeah, we should have been tracking this all along,
Right.
But,
Right.
but anyway.
So if we reach the end of that sequence, can I stop recording? Or
Oh, yeah.
is there something else you have to do? Okay.